Hello. I am so thankful you chose to join me and countless others for Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy's 5 Steps to Stress-Free Homeschooling. In this lesson, you will find a friend and even a confidant in Mr. C, someone who knows the struggles of homeschooling as well as an expert in music education. As a mom of three with an honors degree in business and a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success with over 30 years of work experience, I found homeschooling my children absolutely frustrating. I just didn't know where to start. I didn't understand how to teach the more difficult subjects. And don't even get me started on music specials, art specials. Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy prepares every homeschooling parent or guardian for the ups and the downs of teaching, in addition to the ins and out of music specials. Click on the video for the training and to learn more about what Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy has to offer you. Click the video. You will not be disappointed.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Mr. C and welcome to this free webinar from Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Once again, I am Mr. C and I want to tell you a little bit about myself so that you get to know basically my credentials, why I do this, okay? So first of all, my full name is Oswaldo Coelho. I have been teaching for many, many, many years, okay? Well, that including private lessons for over 30 years. I've been a teacher for public school for 5 years. I am Georgia State certified, and I've been teaching music education for the past 5 years in public school. My biggest instrument is voice. Okay, so my main instrument is that I'm a singer, and as a secondary instrument, I do the piano. I play the piano, which is what you can see right over here. Okay, this is where it all happens, guys. Basically, this is where it all happens, where we're going to be doing our coursework, okay? But in any event, secondary instrument is the piano, as well as I learned a minor instrument when I was in college. I learned a minor instrument in flute, and I also learned percussion and guitar and ukulele, okay? So basically I've been pretty well-rounded when it comes to music, okay? I know how to read music, I know how to sight sing. Those are kind of the things that we're going to be learning in during my coursework if you get the course, okay? So be ready. Basically what I'm going to teach you is things that'll help you guys to teach your student, your child at home, how to be proficient in music, okay? But one of the things that I want to get started off with is 5 steps into being a better homeschool teacher, okay? Especially when we've had to lately be forced to homeschool, right? We've had to be part of the homeschool experience, and I do this because I know of the frustrations that happens, especially because of my wife. My wife is a big reason why I do this. Okay, I am married. I'm my wife, and I have my 3 children. Okay, and they all go to the elementary school, and so I know what it's like to have to homeschool. It's really, 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 really frustrating with all the assignments and what to do, and not having materials, not having the money to buy materials, things like that. All kinds of those things, and having to spend your time having to redo scheduling. I mean, that is a big, big, big frustrating part of having to be a homeschool teacher. Finding the time to do everything along with your work and all of that stuff. So, guys, I'm here to make things easy on you guys. Okay, I'm here to take you on a journey to know how to get this thing on lock. You know what I'm saying? Get it unlocked, to de-stress about it, not having to worry about the stresses of being a homeschool teacher. That it's actually easier if we know how to plan, and that's the big thing, okay? But a little bit back to my background. I tend to go back and forth, so bear with me on that. But a little bit more on my background. I went to college. I earned my bachelor's degree in music education, which allows me and gives me the ability to teach from kindergarten through 12th grade. Okay, but besides that, I've had, as I mentioned before, 30 years of experience, over 30 years of experience teaching privately, and from many for many age ranges. Okay, we're talking from 4 years old all the way to 75. Okay, so I've had many people of different backgrounds, you know, beginner, intermediate. I've had all of those kinds of different kinds of students. At whatever level. I've also worked with disabilities as well. So, and doing music with them. So I've had a little bit of experience with that as well. I especially work closely with a colleague of mine who's a music therapist. So, with that being said, you know, I've been around and back with many different types of students, and so I'm going to give you what you need, guys. Again, as I mentioned before, give you exactly what you need to propel you into being a better homeschool teacher. That it's actually, again, once again, just like I keep saying, that it's easier than you think if you know how to plan, and that's what I'm going to give you today. Also, I wanted to mention that you know, I've had my share of performances. So being not just being a teacher in music, I've performed as well. I am a musician. So I've done paid gigs. I've done gigs for charity. I've done benefits, things like that, where I've sang solo. I've been in chorus performances. I've been in chorus since high school. So ever since high school, and I got that music bug, you know, that's really where it all started for me back in the ninth grade. So I've been in the high school chorus, as well as choruses for a couple of different churches. I've also been in musical theater in school, as well as community musical theater. I've been doing that. So I have had my time on the stage. I've worked with other bands where I sang with them, or I play background piano. Again, I've done paid gigs just for myself. I have been around, and I love music. You know, my love of music is really what got me into, and of course my teacher in high school, you know, had the life of being a music teacher, and she was one of the ones, as well as my other teachers and professors, one of the other ones that really allowed me to, or inspired me to love teaching music. See what else I can say about myself. I've performed in places like Carnegie Hall, okay, and at the Met, and that's all in New York. And you know, again, I've had my share of performances on different stages, in college as well as in high school. I've done a lot of different stuff. I've sung solo with big bands, small bands. I've basically done it all. Okay, but so that is, you know, really a lot of my background. Okay, again, I told you I have my degree in music education for K through 12, and I am Georgia State certified to teach in public school. And again, with my extensive experience with teaching privately, I've been able to do that. So, so here we go. I wanted to give you guys what I call the 5 steps of being a good homeschool teacher. Okay, so 5 steps is what you need. I'm going to go over this with you, okay, you know, as a free thing. But I encourage you guys, I really encourage you guys to take up my program, take the coursework, okay, because that is where I really get in depth, okay. But to get you really started, I'm going to give you a lot of good stuff that you're going to really be able to use. So I want you to follow along with me. I want you to make sure you guys have a pen or pencil, pad, whatever you need to take notes. Please take notes. I'm going to use a good old whiteboard. Excuse me, I almost knocked it down. You're going to use a good old whiteboard, and I'm going to write down a lot of stuff that you're going to need to be a better homeschool music teacher. And it takes in just easy 5 steps that you're going to be doing that, okay? But again, I encourage you to get that course. That course is really going to propel you, get you to know everything that you need, because I understand it can be bewildering. It could be very frustrating when, again, as I mentioned before, and I saw my wife in action with my kids. I don't have this. I can't print that out. You know, and especially because, think about this. A lot of the homeschoolings, you know, a lot of the homeschooling that had to take place, okay, because of recent events, we had to rely heavily on the computer, okay? Which is good. A computer is a good resource. The internet is a great resource, okay? But sometimes we just need to be able to have the means to be a little bit away from the computer, to be more hands-on, okay? Especially in my time of teaching. In my time of teaching, I've really, really gotten to learn. I've really understood, and it has been, and it showed in the, it has really showed, what am I trying to say? It has really showed in the students' progress, okay? You get to see the students' progress by being hands-on. Hands-on is the key. I want you to remember that. Even if you got to write it down, make sure you write that down, okay? Being hands-on is really what you need in order to make sure that your student, your child, or children, students, okay? Think of it, because at the time that you're spending with them, you're actually their teacher and they're your students now, okay? But don't think of it as a form. Don't let that scare you, okay? Don't let it be like it's something like, oh my gosh, this is really formal. I mean, it's one thing to take it seriously, which we should do, because we're talking about the education of our children, right? We're talking about that. I care a lot about the education of my child, whether I'm a teacher or not. I've always cared about something like that, and I know you do too. I know you really, really care about that. So it's not something at the same time that we need to worry. We don't need to put worry on ourselves, okay? I'm here to bridge that gap, okay? I'm here to take away that frustration that you guys have had in the past couple of months, or maybe still going through it, whatever the case may be. But I am going to give you the 5 steps. Once again, there's going to be 5 steps to help you be a better homeschool teacher, okay? So I want you to get the understanding that we really need to be hands-on. But how do we do that? The question is, how do we actually get to be hands-on? How can we use the computer to our best use so that we can use those things and then still be hands-on with our child? 5 steps is what it's going to take. So here we go. Strap in, get ready for the ride of your life, okay, when it comes to being a better homeschool teacher. So let's get things started. Here we go. As I mentioned before, let me write this down. 5 steps. Okay? Here are 5 steps in order to be a good homeschool teacher, okay? So, number 1. Okay, I want you to get into the realize this. I want you to, the first thing I want you to do is relax. Okay, write this down. Remember, relax. Okay, so relax. Why do I say this? Because you have to be okay with knowing what you don't know. Okay, be okay with that. I could tell you stories about the first time I started teaching in public school. Okay, the first time I had to teach in public school. Yes, I came out of college. Us teachers, we come out of college, okay, going to school for those 4 years, for getting our master's or even getting our doctorate, okay? We come out of school knowing a lot of stuff, and then yet at the same time, we still are faced with the biggest thing is, what do I start with? What do I do now, okay? And then that's when the worry starts to happen. I know it sounds hokey too. At the same time, I'm telling you to relax. And it sounds crazy. You probably want to reach out into the screen and strangle me and say, what do you mean relax? I don't know what to do. You got to tell me. Help me. I'm here to help you. Don't worry, okay? So, you want to relax. Take a breather. It may sound hokey, but it's definitely what is needed. You need to be able to relax and be okay with knowing what you don't know. I'm here to show you what you may not know, what can help you find out what you need to know, okay? And remember, before we are teachers, okay, we are first students, okay? This is part of relaxing, part of having the relaxing factor. You must know that you are not going to know everything. You're not going to, all right? So you have to be the student now at this time, especially now that we're doing the video, right? We're doing this webinar. You need you to relax, okay? For the sake of your children, for the sake of your students. We want to take a breath, relax, okay? Know that you don't know everything, okay? and have an open mind. This will allow you to be open-minded, okay, and seeing, by the way, that there are many possibilities. We're going to be confronted with stuff, especially as we go along. We're going to be confronted with things that we realize, I don't have everything. I need this, I need that. My house is impossible. It's chaotic. It's messy. I got too much to do. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the resources. I don't have the intelligence. I don't know everything. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Step number one: relax. Relax. Okay, it's gonna be okay. Know that you don't know. And now it's time for you to put on the hat of the student. You become the student. And why? It's the age-old saying. Age-old saying. Every day of our lives we learn. We are here to learn. We are not teachers first. We are students first. Because we learn every day. We even learn from our students, right? You've probably heard that said a lot. Okay, this is what you really need to take into account. This is what I had to do. Okay, and even as hard as it was, I had to know that. I had to know that I wasn't there at the school to teach. I was there to learn too. I was there to learn from them. And you get to learn a great deal. A lot of you may already know a lot about your child, which is natural. It is natural for parents to know their child, okay? Which gives you an edge, okay? So remember that. That gives you an edge. I want you to remember that, okay? Write it down if you have to. It gives you an edge to know that you know your child, you know their habits, you know their things, okay? Which, here we go. Let's go to number 2. Step number 2. Okay, write this down. And sometimes you'll see me looking back and forth. I have my notes here. I'll even show you. Oh, yes, I have my notes, okay? I have my notes, yeah, because hey, look, I told you already, I don't know everything, okay? I had to write things down, yes? So I go by a particular plan. And that leads me to number 2, where we have to understand that we got a plan for changes. Okay? Plan for changes, okay? A change is a coming, okay? Remember that, okay? So you got a plan for changes. And why? Okay? Think about when and where you're going to teach in your home, okay? Let's start with that, okay? Because why? In your own home, you have to know where you're going to be most comfortable and where it's going to be most conducive for teaching and for learning, okay? For you and your child, okay? For you and your student or students, okay? It's the place of your home. You know it well. You know exactly what room you're going to use and what is going to be more conducive to learning, okay? Take, for example, my room over here. I got this little room over here, okay? I know that this is a room, okay, that I've used in actuality, it's my son's room. Truth be told, okay? It's actually my son's room, but this room I found to be, with the type of bed he has, and it's foldable and things like that, I found that I can use this room, okay? It's solitary, it's where I can work, it's where I can do my own music, okay? As well as plan my own lessons. So I've chosen this room to be able to do that. Yeah, sometimes I gotta be like, hey son, you gotta get out of here for a little bit. Daddy's gotta work, okay? And he's totally okay with it because he plays with his sisters and everything like that, okay? But I've chosen a room that is known to be very conducive to my musical rehearsals and learning and things like that. So you want to choose a room that is perfect for learning, where you guys have the means to be able to learn and teach all that you can, okay? But besides that, you also want to think not just where, but when. When, okay? Let me write that down underneath, just a little. Okay, we have where, we think about where, and we think about when, okay? So when do we have the time? What time is appropriate, okay? Only you know your schedule, right? Only you know your schedule. You know what times are appropriate. You need to think about those things. Don't start to stress and be like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Okay, some parents, believe it or not, we overlook little things like that, okay? We overlook where we're going to have our particular room to do the learning, to where it's most conducive to learning and teaching, and then we forget when. We don't think too hard. Sometimes we even think about it at the last minute. Sometimes we think about it as we go, and then all of a sudden we realize, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't the right time. You know what? I forgot about this. I forgot about that. So what you really want to do, again, is be very organized, okay? And it's going to help you a lot. Be organized in when and where you're going to do your learning. It could be in the morning. It could be a little bit closer to midday. Whatever the case may be, whatever is helpful to and easy for you and your family to be able to do the learning and teaching, that's when and where you want to do it, okay? So plan with intent. Plan with the intent to know what's going to be helpful for you and your students, okay? So there's that. That is the where and the when, okay? Think about this also. I want to just touch up on where, okay? When you're choosing the right room, make sure that the furniture you have in there is conducive to be able to move things around if you have to, okay? Things that you have the room to get the other furniture that you might need, things like that, okay? Besides scheduling when, you want to choose the room that is going to be conducive to learning, where you can move stuff around or add stuff or whatever the case may be. All right, so yeah, furniture has a lot to do with it. Where they're going to be comfortable, what kind of furniture that you're going to use. Be mindful, and be mindful of how your child sits at a particular chair or desk or table or whatever that you can find, okay? Be imaginative, be creative. I'm going to say that a lot during this video too, so be mindful of that. I'm going to say a lot of be creative. Creativity, this is your chance. This is your chance to really, make the learning environment the way you want it, okay? That's what I learned as an educator myself. That's what you have to do now. That's what I want you guys to do in order to have the best success, okay? So that was number 2, to plan for changes. Plan to change your stuff around and again, plan it. That's the key, okay? Number 3. Okay, number 3. Plan for gathering materials. Let me write that down. You write this down as well. Plan for gathering materials. Okay? Materials, okay? So, a lot of what goes into planning, okay? And this is part of your lessons and everything that you're going to do. You're planning what you're going to do with your room. You're planning when you're going to have your time to teach. By the way, let me backtrack. I tend to backtrack a little because I want to make sure that you guys have the right amount of information, okay? I don't want you leaving here empty-handed, okay? So as far as the when, make sure that you're doing 30 minutes daily, okay? We are going to learn about teaching music, okay? Teaching music. And generally speaking, for all the other subjects, okay? I mean, let's say we come into the fall again, and we have to, by chance, homeschool again, okay? 2 hours out of the day should be the maximum for any and all the subjects that need to be done, okay? 2 hours of homeschooling max. That's it, okay? Think about it. All the learning can happen within that time, okay, and can be can be touched upon, okay, if you schedule it right, of course, okay. But 2 hours out of the day, and within those 2 hours, okay, you're gonna spend time on music. It should be 30 minutes per day. 30 minutes. That's it, okay. Especially when it comes to music specials, okay. Because why? That's when they're, first of all, like say Monday. Monday would be the day to start the lesson for that week. Okay, not only that, but you want to do the lesson, okay, within that 30 minutes, okay, teach that concept, okay, every day after that should be spent 30 minutes a day of them practicing. So at that point, you don't even have to teach anymore. You don't have to teach a new concept on a daily basis. All you have to do is pick one concept out for the week. One concept for the week that you teach on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At a certain time, for those 30 minutes, they should be practicing their skill, their concept, to make sure that they have the understanding. They should be working on that through the week, whether it's through assignment, through whatever. okay, learning a song, whatever the case may be, 30 minutes a day, that is it, okay? Let them work from that to the end of the week. The next week, Monday comes around, guess what? New lesson, okay? That's also something to think about when it comes to when. But now, moving forward to planning for materials, okay? Whenever you're planning a lesson, okay, which look for that in my coursework, because I'm going to teach you more in depth about how to do a lesson plan, okay? But when you're doing that, think about the materials, okay? Overall, you want to think about the things that you need. Now, this is music, right? So, instruments. And I'm going to talk about that in my coursework. I don't want you to worry about instruments so much either, okay? Don't worry too much about instruments, at least not until then. There are so many resources that you can use and so many things that you can use just for free that you may not need instruments right away. And it all depends on the aptitude of your child, of your student, okay? And their interests and things like that, okay? But plan for materials, okay? And still, it could be something simple as a stapler, paper, pencils, things like that. And you want to get the most for your buck, okay? Listen, as an educator, I had to budget, okay? As a dad, as parents, you gotta budget, okay? Budget. Plan and make sure you know your funds, okay? Be organized in that way and get the best out of your buck. You can always look things up on the internet, whether you have to order them, whether you have to go to a particular store or whatever the case may be, but always look for sales, okay? When it comes to all types of materials, and gather them. Hey, you don't even know. You probably have them laying around the house and you don't even know it. You need to be diligent on that and take an inventory of the materials that you have, okay? So make sure that you look around, look for the best stuff, especially if you can get for free, great. Hit your friends up, hit your family members up, okay? See if they got anything that they can lend, okay? Papers, notebooks, pencils, all that stuff, okay? Gather what you can, okay? And make the most out of the experience for you and your child by making sure you have those materials, okay? That's going to be very important, because if you're unprepared, if you don't have the materials that you need, you can plan a lesson, and I've been there. Oh boy, have I been there. I plan a lesson, and then all of a sudden, oh boy, I overlooked, I still need notebooks for everybody, or I need paper for everybody, or I need this and that, erasers, whatever the case may be. Oh, I need a sharpener, whatever the case may be, plan ahead, okay? You always want to do things ahead of time. Everybody got that? Okay, I hope you understand that. So now we are moving on to number 4. This is step number 4. Okay. Step number 4, which is, and I mentioned this before, the internet. Yes, the internet. Now, I mentioned before how we've had to use the internet as of late, okay, for homeschooling purposes, and we had to rely on, the teachers putting in stuff, and was a lot of what the big frustration was, because there was technical difficulties and things like that, okay? If we are forced to have to homeschool again, okay, and you really want to make the best, okay, I want you to look at the subject matter, okay, whatever the lessons are, whatever they are, and do your own research, okay? Whatever your child assignments that they have to do, okay? Or if you're just homeschooling with your own curriculum, okay? Because this is also what it's about, especially when it comes to music. What I'm going to teach you will be in the coursework that you get. I'm going to teach you more in-depth stuff about planning in your own curriculum and your own lessons, okay? So what you want to do is, and yes, we do research already. A lot of us pretty much tend to use the internet for a lot of research, okay? But I'm reiterating that you can look up free resources, free PDFs, information, videos. YouTube videos has plenty of tutorials, okay? They have a lot of those tutorials, okay? Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, if they have those tutorials, why do I need you? Why do I need you, Mr. C? Why do I need you to tell me how to do these? Because here's the problem with some of those tutorials, okay? They don't account for a lot of the stuff that you have to do yourself, okay? And a lot of the times, it can still get very frustrating, okay, with having to now teach your child, or your child having to follow along some other teacher, okay? What you want to do, okay, because I've done this with my own children as well. Yeah, I look at the tutorials, okay, but then I practice what they do. And if I practice what they do, then I can practice with my child. Then I can teach my child what they're doing. Not only that, on top of that, you want to do your own research. Look up different videos, look up different articles, look up all different types of things to then formulate. And here are the two words that I've been, hounding on constantly: being creative, okay? Being creative. You don't have to do everything that the tutorial or the article or the PDF or whatever you find on the internet. You don't have to do them exactly as they say. Be creative and think of the steps that you need to take so that your child can learn their best from you. You can use the internet as a good resource, and that's all it is. It's a resource. It is not the end-all be-all, okay? Take, for example, even the things that I tell you, even in the course. You're going to be looking at a lot of that stuff. I'm going to be more in depth than I'm being now in this webinar. This webinar, though, I'm kicking you off to a great start, right? I'm catapulting you guys. That's what I'm doing. But at the same time, you still, and I'm urging you guys to be creative as you're learning from me. Also learn with your student in mind, that they have different learning styles, that they learn and take in information differently. It's kind of something what I said before, right? Or earlier, number one, to relax, to know your child, things like that. You gotta know your child. Know them. If you know them, you know exactly what their learning habits are. You know what they can do and what they might have trouble with, okay? You have to be able to plan ahead of time. So the internet, though it's a good resource, and you should use it, you should definitely use the different tutorials and things like that. Definitely my course, which will be more in depth than this, but at the same time, use it also with the intention that you're going to take what I give you and you're going to make it your own. That is the evolution to every teacher. Okay, that is how you do it. You put into practice some things and make it your own, so that this way you can teach your student the way you want them to do it and the way they're going to be best at progressing. Okay, the last one. Here's number 5. Step number 5. Okay, it is communication. Okay? Communication is key. And what do I mean by that? Between you and your students. This is your time to build a rapport with your students, okay? So I'm going to say a couple of things about communication. Number one, you want to make sure that you gather information from your students. Oh yes. In my time of being doing private lessons and even doing classes in public school, you may think you don't have time. You may even come to the idea that you don't have time to ask questions from your child. That's not true. Make the time. Make the time before you start. Hey, let's say Monday's the first day of learning. The first thing that happens, you don't know what to do. Let's say that 30 minutes, that first 30 minutes is based on what you want to know how to pick a lesson. I mean, you got to know what to do as far as a first lesson, right? So the first thing that you want to engage your child in, okay, is getting information from them, asking them questions like what do they like, what they don't like in terms of music. Okay, it's going to be what kind of music, genre, songs, what kind of stuff do they like. You may already know, but ask them anyway. Ask them as if it's the first time you're meeting them, okay? Because that could be a 30-minute class right there. That could be time well spent trying to probe them and get an understanding what they like, okay? What gets them motivated? What kind of music gets them motivated, okay? The other thing is you want to talk about what kind of instruments they like. This is, again, as it pertains to music, okay? But what kind of things that they like. If you're talking about the other subjects as well, okay, all the other academics, yeah, you want to start to ask them, what do they like about math? What do they like about social studies? What do they like about this and that, okay? What is their favorite part in a particular subject, in ELA, English Language Arts? What is their favorite part? Do they like writing stories? Do they like writing sentences? Do they like spelling, you know? Anything. Do they love reading, you know? or do they hate it? You want to know all those things. Gather your information, and I mean write it down like you were their psychiatrist or something. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, but get it all down on paper. Know your likes and dislikes of your child. Make sure you gather all that data so that this way you can formulate the first lesson, no matter what you're teaching them. Okay. You can formulate, communicate with them on that level, and at the same time, you're building a rapport. Okay, you're building a rapport. They start to trust you. Okay, yeah, you're their parent. You're also their teacher. And guess what? Guess what, parents? Guess what, folks? That is the lifelong job. Your lifelong job. Okay, your lifelong job is to be their teacher. They learn the most from you. Okay, remember that. So that this way, yeah, again, they can trust you. Lessons can go much smoother. Okay, no problems there. You just get to know your child. That's the thing. Now, that isn't to say that there aren't going to be difficulties, okay? But the more you know your child, the better you're going to be. So communication, again, is key. Gather the information. Know their likes, their dislikes. Know how they learn. Know what's more conducive to them, and know what really stumps them, okay? Okay, that also goes along with, where you teach, okay? Kind of going back to number 2, okay? But in any event, now part of the communication is they have to know, and this is key, they have to know that there are rules, okay, and expectations. You, as the parent, you are going to have rules and expectations for your child, okay? If they don't know if they don't know that they're not supposed to roll around on the floor, if they don't know that they're supposed to, if they don't know that they're not supposed to shout out without raising their hand, maybe it's easier if they raise their hand. Hey, I know you probably think, oh, that's only for school. Hey, sometimes that might actually be helpful when it comes to the back and forth communication, because yes, on the one hand, you want to hear from your child. You want to hear what they think even during a lesson, okay? But at the same time, you want them to know time and place. When is it appropriate for them to ask the question? How do they get heard? Okay? Because you want to hear from them. You want to know what questions they have, so that if they're having trouble with something, they got to be able to communicate that to you, okay? If they feel that they cannot say anything to you, that's the last thing you want, because if they can't communicate with you, if they can't tell you how they feel about a particular subject or what's giving them difficulty, they're not going to learn, they're not going to enjoy learning, okay? So make sure that you're open to that. Come up with a system, and that's where your rules go by, okay? Many times I had to tell in public school, I would post them on a whiteboard just like this, okay? And I would post them, and not only that, I'd have them on a separate whiteboard other than the big whiteboard in my classroom. I'd have them on a separate whiteboard so that they are always, my students are always aware of those rules, okay? Never assume that they just know after the first time you told them. Parents, we've all been there. Didn't I tell you like 2 seconds ago to clean your room? Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay? And that was 2 seconds ago. 2 seconds ago. You see what I'm saying? It happens. They forget. You got to tell them over and over again. And I don't mean like berating them or anything like that. No. I mean, you just have to remind them. That's the way kids are. That's the way students are. So if you're dealing with older kids, of course, you definitely want to say it, and you want to remind them, of course, age appropriately. You want to take into consider age appropriately. Remember when we talked about such and such rule? Remember when I said this? Okay. This way, when they forget or when they go against those rules, you can gently remind them, okay? You basically want to just take that approach with every age level, okay? No matter what. Remember when I said this is what is expected? These are the rules that you have to follow. Remember that. The more you do that, the more they're able to actually independently remember on their own, and you have less issues with learning, okay? So communication is very much key. Also, back to the where and when. You also want to communicate with your child, with your children, okay? You want to communicate, hey, at such and such time, we're going to have our lesson in the living room, the bedroom, whatever the case may be. Their room, your room, whatever it is, okay? Wherever your room is going to be, this is where it's going to be, and it's going to be at this time. I expect you to be here at this time. okay? Or I expect you to do a chore, eat your breakfast, do this first, then come at such and such time. Make sure you're watching the clock, blah, 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 you know, okay? Make sure you are communicating with them to know exactly what you expect of them, that they have to be there a certain time, okay? That they have to follow these rules and that they're expected to work diligently. Their work ethic has to match what you have in mind for them. But you have to what? Communicate to them. You got to tell them. You got to tell them. Sometimes you got to tell them over and over again, and that's okay. That's okay. That's how they develop routine. Everything is as it is concretely, and they know what to follow. All students need a routine. They need a routine and things to be similar. Don't change it up. Here's the thing. Don't change it up unless you can communicate to them effectively before it happens, okay? Try to communicate. And even if, let's say your life is kind of a little bit hard to manage because, you know, sometimes your work tends to happen and then things tend to happen out of nowhere. Let's say that happens, okay? I want you to also communicate that to your students or student. I want you to let them know, okay, sometimes my work may call me in to do this, that, and the other, okay? That might happen. When that happens, I expect you to do this, that, and the other. See what I'm saying? When you communicate to them ahead of time what may happen, they will still develop that routine and understand that they also can be flexible too, okay? The routine is not meant to be strict to the point where they're going to just, that something is always going to be a certain way. It's to guide them. This is what planning is about, guys. This is what planning your curriculum, your lessons, okay, and the way you teach and the way they learn. This is what it's about. There's that word again, planning. Planning is a big, big, big yes. That's what you must do. Plan ahead of time and communicate those plans to your special students, okay, to your children. Let them know that that's what's going to happen so that they can develop that routine and have that expectations. They have their expectations as far as what they're expected to do. They have their expectations for you about what you're going to do. Why? Because you're being open and communicating with that with them, okay? Planning, and communicating, that is what's going to make you, and that is what's included in the 5 steps of being a better homeschool teacher, okay? Guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure telling you about all of this, and these are the tools that is going to help you overall, okay? But you need to get my course. You need to get my course. You need to really engage in that. My course is going to be more in depth as far as music is concerned, about the things that you can do, how creative you can be, how best to plan, okay? All those things, because music in itself is very, very frustrating if you don't know what to do and what to use, okay? So this stuff's going to be reiterate plus more, okay? Plus more, okay? But when I say plus more, it's not something that you need to stress about. Remember, number 1, first step, relax. Breathe with me right now. In your nose and out your mouth. It's going to be okay, okay? Relax first. Above all, I want you guys to be your best teachers, but I want you to relax because that's what's going to make you a good homeschool teacher, okay? Look out for my courses, okay? Let's get to it, okay? Let's do it. We can do it together, okay? And I will see you guys in the next coursework, in the next video, okay? One thing I always tell my students, okay? And you, now that you're my students, okay, and you're learning the 5 steps to being a good homeschool teacher, the one thing I want you to do with all of these steps, okay, and then some with the other coursework, is to have a happy practicing, guys. Happy practicing to you, and I will see you later. Take care, guys.
Thank you for attending 5 Steps to Stress-Free Homeschooling webinar. Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy wants you to get the most education possible in order to give your children the best education possible. Searching the internet can be helpful, but it does not replace a proper education and can be cumbersome and confusing trying to find information to help teach and help you understand your role as a homeschooling teacher. Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy's Mission Music. We provide a program that introduces Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, also teaches techniques part 1 and 2, lesson planning part 1 and 2, rhythms, drumming skills part 1 and 2, pitch, singing techniques, and more. Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy also provides a worksheet for all of the students. It's an exclusive Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy worksheet. We also provide all of our students with Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy certification. It's for going the extra mile to provide exceptional homeschool education. When you sign up for Mission Music course training, you'll learn teaching basics, learn sight singing, manuscript reading, how to teach multiple instruments, learn vocal exercises, learn about different genres of music, and much, much more. You'll be taken back to your grammar school music specials days. We all know how special those were. This course is tailored to train the most novice music educators. For those musical prodigies who never stepped foot into a classroom. And for those music educators that are just seeking new ideas for their classroom. Mission Music Training Course has been tailored for the adult educator seeking helpful homeschooling their homeschooler. This specific training is not created for children to learn music. The children's version is secondary to parents, guardians, educators learning teaching methods first. The children's course comes later. Every state requires teachers to have some sort of certification before they're allowed to teach in a school. It is because of this that we must understand that every single teacher, homeschooling or not, should have some sort of education to learn how to teach children properly. It takes education to educate. And if so, then what do homeschool parents do? Homeschool parents can go back to college. Of course, going back to college means more time taken away from the home and the children. It can cost thousands of dollars, and it will take a lot of time to go through all the courses that it will take to just learn one subject. Mission Music Training course alleviates the need to spend thousands of dollars on college courses that you don't even need just to learn about the subject you are going to school to learn about anyway. Mr. C gives you insight into education and music without you having to give up your hard-earned time and money. With videos you can refer back to anytime and anywhere you have internet access. With a lifetime membership as a student of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, your one-time payment equals a lifetime of education at your fingertips. There's no longer a need in 2020 to go to a college or university when you just need to study one specific subject to help your family to do better in school. Having well over $1,000 worth of content, an infinite amount of value, flexibility, and expertise, Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy is offering a Mission Music Training course for only $497. But wait, Mr. C's diligent students won't have to pay that price. When you click the button to purchase Mission Music Training course today, you will only pay $97 to become a member of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy and a student of Mission Music when it is released this June. You will automatically be entered into our Diligent Students membership with special benefits. Musicians that just need practice. That is how we see all of our students. And because of that, in addition to a $400 discount on Mission Music Training course, free Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy worksheet, your free PDF download of the 5 steps to stress-free homeschooling, you will also receive a lifetime membership as a student of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. As a diligent student, you will be the first notified when new up-and-coming trainings are released, and exclusive access to live trainings, exclusive webinar invitations, live performances by Mr. C, and diligent student access to Mr. C's book, Learn Singing Basics in 5 Rounds with Mr. C, also releasing this month. You'll also receive a diligent student password. This password will allow you to invite a diligent friend that will receive the same early bird price and exclusive packages as a diligent student of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. That password is a very valuable password. It will allow your friend to get the Mission Music package for only $97 along with you. That's a $400 discount. Another unheard of exclusive, trainings valued well over $1,000 will be offered to the diligent students of the Academy for only $97. That's every single training of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy will be offered to only the diligent students of the Academy for only $97. Our diligent students are our early birds, the ones that signed up first for the membership. They will receive every single training that they would like to take within the Academy for only $97. Some of these courses are going to be over 500, some may be over 1,000. You will always receive a training course for $97. Every training that comes out from the beginning of your diligent student membership will only be $97 without question of training packages, in addition to being the first notified of new books that will be released during the lifetime of your membership with Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. These offers are for a limited time, so please don't miss out. Don't let the more diligent students take your place. In addition to exclusive release information, $97 trainings valued over thousands of dollars, diligent students share with a diligent friend password access, exclusive live webinars, live performances, free worksheet, and free PDF 5 steps to stress-free homeschooling. Diligent students of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy will also receive, with the average student's training course, bonuses. Bonus number 1, teaching skills using the piano. Valued at $99, we will be selling that course separately from Mission Music for $99. Bonus number 2, sight singing skills, also valued at $99, and we'll also be selling that course separately from Mission Music. And bonus number 3, teach music with apps, also valued at $99, and we'll be selling that separately from the Mission Music course. All of those bonuses you will receive as a diligent student because you are an early bird and signed up today for $97. Click below to purchase Mission Music at the exclusive diligent student price of $97 while it's still time. And do not forget, Look for your emailed Diligent Friend password to share with a friend, and if you don't receive your email, please check your spam junk folder. Thank you for attending Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy's 5 Steps to Stress-Free Homeschooling. We enjoyed giving you the tools you need to have a better homeschooling experience. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to educate yourself in order to educate others. Coupled with the valuable information learned here in this webinar, Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy has so much more to offer you in your homeschooling journey. We look forward to providing you with some much more value, offering trainings, books, study guides, and so much more. Click below, and as a Diligent student, be a part of our exclusive Diligent student body at Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. We'll see you inside. Happy practicing.